Yeah, well, the first thing that we start with in terms of that component that I mentioned as one of the first layers that we look from a biophysical analysis using we started with remote sensing, then proximal sensing, and now ground truth sensing is really understanding what are the baselines. Biodiversity first, water, social, and then carbon. And so right to that point of the biodiversity crisis is that we really look at to what is the biodiversity baseline. And one complexity that already just saying that, just to make it very palpable, it's really, really difficult to measure biodiversity. Why? Because there are many different um, ways of measuring biodiversity. We start with a mean species abundance index as an element that captures multiple proxies as to how uh, um, key biodiversity areas, main species are present or not present in a specific landscape. And we then start to forecast how would that index, how would that biodiversity set of metrics increase if we were to have a resilient landscape? And so in the construct of the investment proposition, as well as the hooks to make a land steward, landowner, join or want to restore their land, we make that point of biodiversity very explicit, followed by soil moisture potential. So to support life, you need water. You really need the ability of the landscape to capture and retain water so that as we're going through droughts or fires or flooding, that landscape can be very resilient from a water cycle perspective. And so as we start building that case from a biophysical perspective, in many cases, in fact, in all cases now, as we're building the financial requirements, call it a capital expenditure, we outline very quickly from the beginning how much investment we're going to do to measure biodiversity, the monitoring aspects of biodiversity, but also what interventions we're going to do to increase that biodiversity. So, for example, in a grassland like the one that I have behind me, a lot of the biodiversity there is interacting, is are interactions between livestock and wild stock. Think cattle interacting with black bears, pumas, longhorn sheep, elks, multiple types of birds from eagles to the California condor should be here. So in many of our projects, that accounting of the specific species that make the trophic chain workable and an increase is part of the design. And as I just shared with the community a bit more, sometimes those interactions can really benefit and have unintended positive consequences, such as avoiding conflicts between that wildlife and that livestock.